Hi, hope it's been helpful thus far, but something I want to talk about is to reemphasize the need, and again, while we're practicing meditation, to get into that lowered states. We didn't talk about brainwave states, but we're getting into that alpha brainwave, which is where we can tap into more of our subconscious thoughts and intuitive tendencies. So, what I really want to talk about is the self image and how that directs everything, and kind of reemphasize again that that is what is directing us. And I also wanted to introduce a new image visual to kind of paint a picture and give us a clearer idea of what is going on just visually. Gotta make pictures to do that. But in regards to the subconscious mind, so we talked about the conscious mind having the ability to accept or reject anything, and then the subconscious mind does not reject. Everything is impressed into the subconscious mind, whether it is a real or imaginary thought. And we have the ability to create that with our imagination. But what I want to emphasize today is about the self-image and how when we are not consciously thinking that the subconscious mind is directing us. And we had this little cell-like looking image that describes or shows that that's the biggest part of us. This is running the show. But so what I want to give another visual representation of is this was introduced, it's not drawn yet, but so we're going to have this big circle represent the mind. And then we're going to have this little circle, that's the body. And then we can draw something right through that, and we'll have this be the conscious mind, this be the subconscious mind. Everything that is stored in here dictates the vibration of the body, which then determines how we act, how we behave, and even our belief systems. That's where all this is stored. So remember, you are not your beliefs, you are not your body, you have them, and you can, just like you can change your body, as you know through physical exercise, you can change your beliefs, you can change your subconscious tendencies, your paradigm, which is your kind of combination of beliefs, which is dictates how we behave, by consciously putting in good ideas, good thoughts, goodness into our subconscious mind. And we do that both by from our sensory input. So we can even say that we have little antennae up here as the five sensory input. So we are either receiving information from outside and then impressing it, or we have the higher faculties like imagination that we can create with our conscious mind and then put it in here. So what's the idea of today? Would I really, and kind of go back to the idea of creating a vision and the idea for us, because what that does is that the more we revisit the vision, the more we are impressing it upon us. And we had the squigglies about where are we vibrating at. So when we can impress more and more, so think about it almost like a sponge. That's you might have a muddy sponge, and if you drip a little clean water on it, it's not gonna do anything. Even if you dip the dirty sponge just in clean water, it's still gonna be dirty. You have to squeeze it out, and continue to add more and more clean water to it to then make this a clean sponge, and then make this the subconscious mind that we so desire. So activities before of talking about like who do you admire, what kind of qualities do you want for yourself. So want to revisit that today, but then go beyond that, because that was the idea, that was to be a preliminary exercise for the following. So then to allow that to spark who you want to be for yourself. So if the who you admire and what qualities of others do you seek to aspire is too much, we can skip that, but going straight into who do you want to be for yourself? What is the ideal self? What kind of self-image do you want for you? Because what also takes place on this, similar to the squiggly lines where this is what you're used to. So the subconscious mind can be likened to a thermostat. So if you're normally at 72 degrees, and think of a thermostat, and it gets cold, it gets to 68 degrees in the house, the heat's going to kick on, yeah, heat gets hotter. Heat kicks on and it brings it back to 72 degrees. And the same thing opposite, if it gets to 75, air will kick on, it'll bring it back down to 72. So why that is, how that pertains to our actions is like, if we start to create habits that are, or attempt to create habits that are not within the subconscious mind, there's that clash and there's that cognitive dissonance. And there starts to be a battle between the subconscious and the conscious. But that's when we have to override that fear with our conscious, deliberate thinking. And that's when we just have to come to remember, I am not my body, I am not my habits, I am not my thought patterns, I am above and beyond this. I am more than this. And even beyond that, remembering that I am a divine spark of light, that I am infinite, I am invincible, I am so much more than this body, and remembering that we have that spark of divinity, that spark of purity, that spark of perfection within us, and remembering that allows us to bring the goodness, because we're always thinking one or two thoughts. We're either thinking something positive or something negative. It's one of those two directions. So what are we putting in? So we want to choose, we want to look towards the light. We don't want to look towards the absence, towards the darkness. We want to remind ourselves, I can do anything, I can be anything, I can impress anything upon my subconscious mind. I can use the power of my subconscious mind to benefit my life, to uplift me. So that exercise of creating a self-image, what is the ideal image you want to have of yourself? And it starts off with just a fantasy, because that's where it needs to start. It just needs to be some ethereal idea that is just out there that we can then start to crystallize by daydreaming about it, visualizing about it, feeling it to be real. Because remember, feeling is the secret. The feeling is the secret. It's not thought alone. It's what are you resonating with? How are you vibrating? So we want to think about that idea, feel the idea, feel good about it, and let it get into the body and allow that to radiate beyond us and become us. I think that hit the point of it. So, and to kind of re-emphasize once again the necessity of meditation, because when we can begin to practice calming our minds, then we can allow ourselves to more easily recognize which side of the spectrum we're on. And we get more in tune with our body, which allows us to acknowledge what we are resonating with, what we are vibrating at. So meditation, again, the foundation of freedom, because when we can face our fears, when we can face our demons, when we can face our flaws and not be overruled by them, because when we can get to that place of peace and calm, then we're like, I can do anything. Because as that African proverb says, there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. So we want to get rid of all these and have full of these. So that is my explanation for the reason to do a self-image exercise today. And I'm hoping I can talk to you today, but I'm going to suggest that we maybe 86 the gratitude list and do a different type of list, but we shall see, and I will get with you on this. But I think we should change it to goals list and kind of just what is the most important and prominent and best feeling idea that I could have for my future, for my life, because that's more of a forward looking. That's more of a, what do I want to get pulled towards? That gives the brain, the subconscious mind, a target to lock onto. And it doesn't have to be the same every day, but just what is on the mind? Like today I'm really feeling like I want to own a jet. I don't know why I said that. Maybe I want to own a jet, I guess. But something like that what pulls us forward. I want to be able to, and I'll try to maybe, I don't know, I won't speak for your position. I'll speak for me. It's like, I want to be able to work with hundreds of people and talk about this. I want to be able to give speeches, give public talks about this, things like that nature. Whatever feels good and lights you up, and that gives your mind like, ooh, yeah, that sounds good for my life. So not only thinking about 86 in the gratitude to switch to the goals list, we're going to do it. And I'll explain that in here, but hopefully you watch the video, and hopefully we get to talk today. So hope this reaches you well, and I will talk to you soon.